Do what you gotta do.
Okay, I think we're recording now. Oh no, now we're recording. Cool. But yeah, you just keep saying whatever you were saying.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying, the MacBook Pro, their microphone and their speaker setup is pretty damn good. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, because I have a $2,000 Dell laptop for work, right? And this is technically a $1,500 MacBook Pro setup. The speaker and the microphone on this computer is far greater than my work laptop. And like I said, my work laptop has much more RAM, has a better core processor. It's a much better spec laptop than my MacBook Pro. But
the thing is that Dells have really good, not even just Dells, but other. Well, actually, yeah, Dell specifically, because doesn't Dell make Alienware?
I believe they do, yeah. Let's fact check that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
but yeah, we do need some fact checking.
Yeah, we can't be spraying. Can't be going out here.
I mean, we also could just let the
Yep is Dell.
Okay, yeah. They make some pretty damn good hardware, but the only thing about Apple is just that they bring that shit together, man. They have a vision and they utilize that all the way around.
I mean, like you said, there are many, many features on an iPhone. I'm sorry, that are not on an iPhone that Android has had for years. Like a prime example, when I was in high school and I had a Sony cell phone, I had the swipe to type. iPhone just got that, last year, a year and a half ago. But most people don't care about those kind of features because they sell you on their lifestyle and their brand.
Yeah.
Like you said, you had the whole entire Mac OS ecosystem, which to my many viewers, the Mac OS system is actually very easy to use. It's just that it's so much different.
The thing is that most people know that y'all are just getting late on the train.
Yeah. Now, make no mistake, I love PC too. Like I said, it has its advantages. But I will say, like I said, if you can learn Mac OS, I recommend it. It's very easy, but it's just much simpler and different compared to Mac. And it's really weird. Like, I'm still struggling to this day. And I've had this thing for 5 months now.
I have I've had my Mac for a few years now. We should also stop sucking Apple's dick for a minute. But at some point, you just got to trust them because they obviously know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though it seems crazy, and I hate that we're in a situation right now where we just have to blindly trust these huge tech conglomerates. But I mean, that would be like second guessing Apple is like second guessing Google. Who in the world is in a position to do that?
It was Yahoo for a long time, but
Yahoo is so inconsequential in comparison to Google now. It's kind of like y'all are some stupid fucking people. And I'm not going to say they're stupid because hindsight is in 2020. But damn, Google is literally like our supreme overlords, and we just gave that shit to them.
Yeah.
We willingly just let them do that. But that definitely is a great segue into the opening for this podcast. We're going to be talking about some supreme dictators, some supreme overlords this episode around. But before we get started, I got to play it. I don't know. Why is it? It's still in my headphones.
Cue the track, homeboy.
Peace and victory to the world of all that noise. Y'all know what we're talking about. This is the Victory Clique podcast starring the Prince of Rhodes and Tony Tone Man. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about some supreme overlords, some dictators, especially Agent Orange, and they're in the White House. Let me turn that down some. We're going to be talking about a lot of political things. Tony, I will let you get us started today. What do you want to start off with? Let me pull up the thing.
Where to start? Okay.
First we should start off with, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well actually. Today was pretty good. I tried out this new taco place out in my area called Little Minor Taco. If anyone is in the PG County area, I recommend that spot. So I feel pretty good. I'm ready to talk about a lot of things because I read a lot of interesting things this day as well, man.
Well, I just got done eating some Zaxby's. I'm just going to give them this money. I feel like every place that's like a chicken joint just has a tinge of racism somewhere. That's what makes the food so good.
Tell you what, I'll give you a prime example. On a side note, Bojangles. Let that sink in for a minute. Good chicken joint, but they call it Bojangles.
What is a Bojangle?
And I think it's a man's name. He was a tap dancer or whatever. It gets worse from there, man.
We got to fact check that.
It just don't sound good. Yeah, look, man, but today
let me go to my my. The thing is that I'm literally going on my Apple device into a Google app. My information belongs to these people.
Like I said, Apple and Google will soon be our supreme overlords. But speaking of, the good old Donald Trump in office is trying to be our supreme overlord, but that's not how this works. So, do you remember that video that you sent me earlier regarding how America's patriotism is turning into fascism?
Yeah, give me 1 second to pull up the video exactly, but I want to say the video it's a YouTube video. So shout out to, before we even get into the topics, the video is by Second Thought. It's called Americans' Patriotism to Fascism Pipeline. So shout out to Second Thought. They put together a really good video. Go support their channel. I know they were saying something about, I'm not going to call it censorship, but I mean, they're going to demonetize. They're probably going to demonetize this video too. So support us as well. But, go follow them. For everybody listening on YouTube, go ahead on and hit that subscribe button before we get into this. Hit that notification bell so you see whenever we post. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, listening to this podcast. Whether you're listening on iTunes or I think it's called Apple Podcast, your Apple Overlord. If you're listening on your Apple Overlord, your Google Overlord, or on your Spotify Overlord, we're just thankful that you decided to tune in with us. But the video is by Second Thought. Continue, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony Tone Man.
Saying I watched the video, and in the words of the slang of nowadays, this man was spitting. Because let me tell you something. The video explained to us how American nationalism, like the title said, is turning into fascism. And he goes into every single segment into a specific population and group of people within America who are, quotes, the far right. He dives into the origins of Fox News and, how, a lot of it, if you look at any Fox News, pretty much news story, a lot of times it's either racist or has a specific kind of rhetoric. And the video goes into the ideology behind, quote, the far right, and how they're literally pretty much, to sum it all up, is built on lies and propaganda. And basically,
now this is aside from your regular news cycle that is also built on. The thing is that Fox just doesn't care. They will just blatantly come out and tell, and I hate to say it, fake news. Like they will just
that's actually what
say
it is.
Stuff.
It's literally it is literally fake news. And what's crazy is, to all my viewers who will probably not watch the video explained how
I'm going to drop a link in the description. So if anyone is interested, it'll be there.
Okay, good. But basically, the originator of Fox News literally said he wants to create a machine that spews propaganda to the American people. And literally, he hires people for Fox News that are not vetted reporters that actually do a good job. In other words, they're basically media personalities who are there to either fire you up or rile you up and spit you lies 24/7. Because the video is a good point that most people got their news on TV either in the morning or in the evening, once Fox News rolls around, it has social media, text display, like over time, because like bear in mind, Fox News was started during the 90s. So this stuff really only got started like around maybe 25 to 30 years ago. And what they're doing is they will say, okay, we're going to spew all this false information or all this information that we're going to turn to our own like rhetoric, our own story to people 24/7. So basically, like, even if you're not at, like watching TV and watching Tucker Carlson, you have podcasts like, Rush Limbaugh, who we all know who Rush Limbaugh is. And then, let's say that, you want to hear something that is pretty entertaining or something real far right and entertaining. You can watch Alex Jones, who in and itself is a person that we can dedicate an entire episode to. But yeah.
Now, before we get too serious, I just want to point out, what? I hate this daggone thing. Work. Is it working?
It should be. Like, what are you looking for?
I'll cut this part out. Let it breathe for a second so I know to cut this part out.
Okay.
I was trying to play a sound effect, but I guess I just won't get the chance to do that. I'm not going to hold this up too much longer.
Pretty good.
But let me turn my Bluetooth off. There we go. Oh, no, I remember what it is now. I'm back. My daggone audio sounds a lot better this time around.
It does.
I got sound effects. I got, what else we got to hear? Happy birthday. I'm just Pikachu. I got a whole soundboard now. Y'all said my sound effects was bad in the last one. I'm here. I'm with it. Give me lit. But yeah, Alex Jones. Nutcase. I actually literally, as one of my senior projects or whatever, as like a senior thing I had to do, I literally gave a presentation on why he's an example of everything you shouldn't do.
Like literally. And like I said, all these media personalities, as you see, are not credible reporters. Because if you watch a lot of Fox News and the shows and the news they spew, is literally stuff that is made up. And they don't care about telling the truth. They only care about trying to sell a narrative to American people to keep them brainwashed. And we think about it. Look at the image of what Trump's America is. I'm sorry, what his viewers want Trump's America to be like. Literally, they tend to forget that the mess that's going on now was mostly created by him. So he's saying,
the other day, this man literally said, he went to a town and was like, this is what America will look like when Joe Biden is president. And it's like, bro, you're currently president.
Yeah, like, this is literally your America. Like, ain't this what's going on right now? Nah, that is not the case. But no. So basically, with all that in mind, that pretty much you guys have to watch that video to fully get everything, because I can't convey to you everything you were saying, because there's so much information in there that will really like blow your mind. And to anyone who supports Trump blindly, I would recommend them watch the video. That way they'll understand the origins of the actual news source.
I would also
understand that those people,
as much as I would love to reach across the aisle, if you support Trump blindly, I'm not sure if they're actually even listening this far in.
They're probably not. But you know what? I still gotta say it just in case, because you never know. Some people are still on the fence. I will tell them, look, Trump's America is literally led by blindness. By blindness, lies, and just brainwashing all in general. So with that in mind, we definitely need to talk about even more how American nationalism is pretty much fascism. Because, like I said before, Trump's main, I would say, audience, and I can say this, it is mostly white people.
I'm not sure. Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is my ringtone. That
Yeah. I was saying is that Trump's main
hotline bling.
audience, look, bro. Trump's main audience
Are you
is
still there?
me. Hello?
It's because I'm hello?
Yeah, are we having technical difficulties, man?
Dang it.
We're having technical
That
difficulties.
just blew the F out of me. Hey, hold on a second.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello?
Are you still there?
Yeah, my mic is working.
Hold on. Okay, say something.
Hello?
Oh, you can still hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
I muted my thing because I thought my computer was the one ringing.
Yeah, you're killing me here, bro. You're killing me.
I will edit that part out.
Yeah, you had to. Okay. So anyway, and I hate to say this, but most of Donald Trump's audience is white Americans because we can go into a long conversation about how the oranges, like the people that have benefited the most from these American programs, is white people because that's what this country was built for, was for white folk. So they're fed these lies that A, immigrants are here to take our jobs. B, we need to get rid of all the Marxist people that control the banks. What they're talking about is Jews. Now, I'm going to emphasize the last thing because wasn't there one man out in Germany who literally emphasized the same thing that Jews are running these banks, are running the institutions, therefore they need to be taken out?
Yeah.
What's his name? What's his
It's
name?
been actually a few people, but I mean, without saying his name, because remember, we are trying to get paid from this.
That is very, very true. So I'm just saying this everything that Trump's America mirrors a lot similar is to that man's regime during World War II.
I just want to point out, I just got a phone call and I'm so blown because I just got a text message and was like, sorry, it was an accident.
Wow. All that 2 minutes wasted off of technical difficulties because of anyway. God.
Yeah, just not like around that for too long.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it seems as if the current American population has just a total disconnect from that idea. But to go back to the video, the host gives a really good observation, I believe, in saying that America has always operated under fascist policies. It's only when we bring it back home, or at least in the modern era, we have operated that way. And when we bring it back home, do we find it a problem? However, we have no problem, policing the world. And it's kind of telling, considering the state that we're in now. But I mean, some people literally do view America as the world's police, which is fascism.
I mean, just think about it. They literally toppled governments in South America and put in their own puppet dictators to control their economy.
They have been doing that in the Middle East.
Yeah. And that's
for
literally
40, 50 years.
Yeah. Like for example, the Shah in Iran, if I'm correct, when he got I think we overthrew him and we put our own puppet guy. And that really led to the Iranian Revolution in 1979.
Yeah.
That's literally it. And it's kind of funny how we're like growing up, we've heard that anyone that stands in the way of America is our enemy, and they are our enemy. But we're also told that America is always in the right. But as we tend to do our research and we tend to educate ourselves, we start to see, No, not all the time. In fact, in the slightest. In fact, ever since World War II, everything that America has done was in the interest of the government, not necessarily for the betterment of the world. You know,
Or its people.
yeah, and that's where you look at quote the Soviet Union. Like we don't see them as just a pure enemy. Way how communism and socialism was such a taboo of a word after World War II that if you said you support the Communist Party, you were an enemy of the state in some sense.
Well, the thing is that America is supposed to be this land of the free, home of the brave, and all that stuff. But who is setting the agenda of, who's the person to draw the line and say, okay, we are not with socialism. We are not with this.
That's the thing. The thing is that and what's crazy? Now, like, bear in mind, people, just
You're breaking up.
You said what?
You were breaking up.
Sorry. Okay,
I think we should run this conversation back.
Okay.
I would try to keep whatever we can, but dang. Let's try this again. I'm going to stop recording.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, I got you.
3, 2, 1. I hit record like 5 seconds ago. I didn't know if it would give me a countdown or not.
No, I feel you. Yeah, where was I at again? Because I was talking about, like it just skews the attitude that we have towards socialism because, in a sense, quote, some socialist policies are just for helping out certain population in America, like helping the poor or helping people that are struggling on their feet. But anything evolving around those words is just automatically deemed as quote the
taboo.
Enemy.
The enemy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, taboo and quote the enemy. And of course, they always need someone that is an image of the enemy. And the enemy they use is either black folk, immigrants, Hispanics going over quote stealing our jobs. Brown people are deemed as terrorists, especially after 9/11 and stuff like that. You always need.
By the way, what's today's date? 9/12. Maybe we should tell them when we're recording this in case we got to drop this later. But do you tell people happy 9/11? I feel like that would be super inappropriate.
No.
What do you say? Happy Patriot Day? Why have we turned that into a patriotism thing?
Because, like you said, I hate to say this, it sounds to me as if they were able to capitalize on, like a
tragedy?
Yeah, here we go. They were able to capitalize a tragedy and turn that into fueling into American patriotism, supporting a war, going to war, stuff like that.
The Patriot Act, I don't know what this is going to do for the algorithm, but Jesus, the Patriot Act is probably the most authoritarian thing we have ever, like piece of legislation I've ever heard of. And I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but Jesus Christ. I mean, I single-handedly would put a lot of that on, or the way things are now on that. I mean, a lot of it does have to do with good old Ronald Reagan himself, but
good old Reaganomics.
The war on drugs, everything he did was just who did his presidency benefit?
His presidency only benefited those 1%, which is where I was going to say next, is that literally, how to say the rich get rich and poor get poor, and people kind of scoff at it. No, that's actually happening. I'm giving them just the people a prime example. The money that the U.S. economy has made or gained over the last 10 to 20 years, 90% of it has gone to, I think, less than 10% of the population. Basically, us middle class folk, us regular old Joes, we did not receive a lot of the rise in GDP and the amount of money that America has made. Only those that are like a part of like the top 10% to the 1%. There's a reason why the middle class is getting smaller, but yet the rich are getting much richer. In fact, even this pandemic already exposed how someone like Jeff Bezos can make, I don't know, $90 billion in a short span of time, yet that there's a large amount of people in America that are literally out of jobs.
Now, I do, again, like I want to point out, I do not hate any billionaires, especially if they want to sponsor this podcast.
No, we don't.
But I do just want to point out they do have a service that everybody uses. I don't know where the world would be without a Google, without an Amazon, and all that stuff. But with that being said, you are right. It does very disproportionately advantage the 1% more so than it does the rest of the United States population.
And that's the issue I have is like, it's not that the billionaires made money. No, they're supposed to make money. Of course, they earn that money. But it's just that us people we didn't see or receive our fair end of the deal, if you know what I mean. It's like,
now, here's the thing though.
Yeah.
We're going to go left for a second. The U.S. economy right now is doing this weird thing, or at least the Treasury, where they're just printing money. And it seems like we have found, I want to call it a paradox, but it's really like a glitch in the matrix or something like that.
Glitch in the matrix.
So what's happening is the economy is slowing down, obviously, due to, and we can't say what it is because we will get demonetized.
So fast.
Yeah. But due to, everybody knows what's going on. Y'all know what the fuck is going on outside. I mean, that'll demonetize us too, but fuck it. The virus. With the virus going on, the economy is slowing down. Yep. Now, what the U.S. government is doing, and if I'm not mistaken, other governments of the world, they're printing money to pay for a lot of this stuff, right? And
Yep.
they're printing and just printing and printing and printing and, just shipping it out. However, typically the issue with printing money is that it causes inflation, right?
It should.
The thing is that because the economy is slowing down, it's kind of like if we inflate it, all it would do is speed the economy back up. So for listeners at home, the economy typically grows about 1% every year.
Like 1.5%, yeah.
Yeah. And it does that pretty steadily. Now, as long as we can print money on pace with that, we shouldn't have any wild increases in inflation. However, deflation is also not a good thing either, because that means that we're not growing. It means the value of the dollar is going down, which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So we have been printing money to fight deflation, which doesn't apparently have any consequence we have yet to see yet. So essentially, we have been thinking of money as a zero-sum game where there's only a limited amount of money in the world because there's a limited amount of resources. But it really seems more like money is kind of like a game we've made up, and we can kind of just do whatever we want with it. I'm not going to say whatever we want, but money seems to be a system kind of man-made. It doesn't really have a natural, a natural base. And you're a math major, so to kind of, we're going to lose a lot of people talking about math and science and economics, but
probably a little bit, but if they want to get smarter, then they'll join in the conversation. But
yeah, just bear with us, people.
Yeah.
So as a math person, there are certain sciences and whatnot that exist that, or I'm not going to even say sciences, but, science is like the actual application of math.
Yeah. Like engineering, physics.
Exactly.
Chemistry.
Whereas there can be abstract math and abstract numbers and things that, like, for instance, infinity. Like there will never be an infinite amount of anything. Yet we could count and like, even if let's just say there's 100 trillion, billion, quadrillion, tillion, make up a number, how big particles in the
Zillion or
universe.
whatever. It'll still
Yeah.
keep on going on and on. Like infinity is really, I'm not gonna say a mindset, but it's like a theory, an idea. It's something
Yeah.
that's
It's
going on.
abstract.
Yeah. Abstract. Yeah. Like look, abstract math is a real thing. Imaginary
Yeah.
numbers. Yeah.
That is to say that we have thought of money as this thing that it has to have a real world comparison. However, it seems it kind of seems like the math is actually the more important aspect here of making money work and less of the science and the economics. Now, granted, I am not an economist. I am not a mathematician. I am not any of those things. However, I just think that's a really interesting thing. And I only say all of this to say that what if the solution really is just to print more money?
What the issue is so to any listeners that don't know, the way the U.S. like government prints money is through the Federal Reserve, which is a big bank. So basically, imagine if the U.S. like government tell Reserve, "Hey, we need $4 trillion in cash." Okay, that means that we owe a bank $4 trillion in cash. Yeah, and that's why they always say, the U.S. debt is so high, apart from like one to other countries, is that we owe money toward the Federal Reserve because the Reserve also needs money to pay it back, which means the government.
So here's the thing, though. Oh, I'm sorry, but I was going to say the thing about that though is that that's why I really want to point out that that is how the system works, but why?
That's actually a very, very good point because they probably just wanted to print as much money as they wanted to. Because if we were to, let's say, have the U.S. currency be backed by the gold standard or the silver standard, there's a cap to how much money that you're able to print because you only have, so much gold in your reserve or whatever, which has this ups and downs. That was, if I remember correctly, that was one of the I think the conditions that JFK wanted to pass for his executive order. Like, I think he wanted to try and bring back the U.S. currency back to the silver standard. That way, like inflation and the debt to America wouldn't be as high. It was very controversial. Like, it didn't get passed, but
that's sliding right into that other topic I've been meaning to talk about. We can talk about that in a minute, though. But my only point of asking why is because you're right. I do think it is just so that we just don't have an infinite amount of money. But again, if you think of, I don't know any other way to put it, but if you think of the world as like a game system, right? Mm-hmm. You need to have barriers and stuff to earn points and stuff in the game. Otherwise, everything would just go haywire. If you could just have an infinite amount of Pokeballs without having to go to the Pokemon store, then what would be the point of the game?
Yeah, like I know a point. You always win no matter what because you can always just print money whenever you need something. You're supposed to exchange, some sort of currency for either goods or things to live. That's just how it always worked. Like you would trade.
I think the way that money is now is that, we have for a long time been using fiat money. And even then, gold is really not useful to us, not in the way that we value it.
Yeah, it's like we only see like gold as like an accessory to, our clothing items. For us, real applications for gold, it has, I think it's the softest metal out there, so therefore it's very like malleable. Like you can shape it to pretty much anything you want, and I think it's a good
conductor.
Yeah, there you go, conductor.
But for all them thousands of years that people have been fighting and using gold as currency, you think they were using it as conductors and satellites and stuff? No, they just liked it because it looked shiny.
Yep. Literally, while the Europeans traded with the West Africans, was that I think the Europeans had salt and the West Africans had gold.
No, the Africans had salt too.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
What
that's
the
why they
hell?
really didn't trade too much with them.
What the fuck
It was
were we?
really more like
Cause
slavery.
what the
We were
fuck?
trading with other people in Africa.
I guess we traded like with the Romans and stuff like that. Are you?
We did a really, really long time ago. But I mean, if you're talking about like towards what is that event that changed the course of human history for all of time?
Christopher Columbus?
Colonialism. Oh, well, that too. But I was talking about colonialism and, the idea that that is such a weird concept. And that kind of ties back to the whole fascism thing.
Yeah,
Just we've had conversations about this before off mic
yeah,
about how colonialism is really like the defining event in human history. I
yeah.
mean, I can't think of anything that is more significant than the ideology of colonialism. I
Yep.
mean, and it's kind of weird to think if people didn't, and this is not to say that fascism or any of this other stuff is good or
It's not.
colonialism is good,
It's
but
not.
I'm
It's
just
not.
saying, not in the slightest. But if these events didn't take place, then a lot of stuff wouldn't exist, including these United States of America.
Which then again leads to the point is that life in itself would be totally different because colonialism did bridge all cultures back together, and I'm sorry, not like back together. It's like it
It,
introduced cultures to like other cultures.
yeah,
A lot like easier
it
terms like Europe going around and spreading stuff.
just so
However,
happened to be super violent and,
extremely
well,
racist.
violent. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Well, actually, that is a really good point because if you think about it, what really drove colonialism all those years ago was nationalism,
yeah,
was it not?
I
And I
mean,
mean, it literally led to slavery. Well, that and capitalism, but all these isms.
it's like there's just too many to try and keep up with, man.
Yeah.
But I know is that the Portuguese really sailed out first for the most part. And, they were just trying to make some money in some sense. Well, I'm sorry, not in some sense. They were just trying to make money. That's all. They were literally trying to make money. They're trying to find new places to trade with. They were trying to find like a better routes to like Asia, whatnot, trying to link the world. It wasn't really until Columbus, took his ass across the Atlantic Ocean and met the natives out here is when we actually like bridged all parts of the world back together. Because North and South America were totally like separate from Eurasia and Africa, because they're
Yeah.
not connected as far as those other continents are. And we count Australia too, but Australia itself is a whole other world. Shout out to my Australians out there.
Yeah. If you're listening to us in Australia, definitely you get a shout out because what?
Yeah, y'all.
Surprised if people are listening to this outside of Virginia.
Man, it's like it was really just a way to make money, which in my opinion proves the downfall of capitalism because in a sense capitalism is really about trying to better yourself and make more money, but at what cost though? And that's where America kind of like failed to say, failed to acknowledge, at what cost am I going to do all this? Am I going to make this money and enslave a whole race of people?
At what cost?
At what cost am I going to enslave a whole race of people because they have a totally different skin tone? Like, I mean, yeah, there's no other way like I can put that, and that's where
Spitting right now, son.
I mean,
Go on.
and that's where it's like you literally combine, socialism is like, hey, if I'm making all this money and one group is not, like as lagging behind or whatnot for whatever reason, I gotta say, okay, these people actually need help. These people like need help. Everyone needs to be treated fairly and equally. Some people have a better, opportunities. We will have like a better circumstance to make money.
Y'all don't know nothing about bars.
That's literally the point. Like we got to say, hey, someone else doesn't have the same opportunities as me. They may have a different skill set, or they may.
You're a socialist, Tony. That's what you are.
Uh,
If you don't stand up proud and tall for this daggone Pledge of Allegiance, come on, put your hand over your heart.
that's a whole other topic, bro. I was like, this is a whole bunch of BS because socialism fully also fails too because there is no growth. It's like everyone is created. I'm sorry, everybody's treated equally. So why would I go to school and better my education if I get paid the same way as I would be a janitor versus being an engineer?
Well, but here's why we have to strip back the entire concept of, and this topic was really supposed to be about politics, but let's get a little less political and let's get a little more
philosophical.
Yes, because the only reason socialism doesn't really work is because somewhere innately in human nature do we tie our worth to our profession or our use to society, like a human life isn't innately valuable or that human time isn't innately valuable. It's only valuable when it's in use, and the best way that's put to use is something that someone would pay for. And that is going to slide right into the next topic of celebrities, but I will make it make sense later on. But
okay. Spit, man. Spit it. Come on.
Oh, it's my turn? Okay.
Yeah, your turn.
So essentially, what are we going to do when capitalism becomes an enemy of the human race? Because at the way things are going to get, I mean, we're going to hit a point. We're going to hit some like glass ceiling, or I guess that's not the right term, but we're going to hit some tipping point, some singularity, where we're going to do things either. I mean, things can only go but so far, right?
Yeah.
Certain jobs can't cut back to a certain extent. We will kill industries in trying to be greedy and trying to be so capitalistic.
Yep.
And one of those industries that's dying right now is the U.S. Post Office. The U.S. Post Office is not, it's not a government-run facility, but it also is not meant to be for profit either. I mean, It's really just kind of meant to break even. But in the scheme of American capitalism, breaking even isn't enough. It has to grow. It has to make money. It has to be big, big bucks. But
do you know what else is, quote, let's say a private, geez, what's I'm looking for? A private sector.
Institution?
A private institution, yet really serves the people? Hospitals and healthcare.
The thing is that we obviously don't acknowledge any of these as public goods, but that's what I'm talking about. We're already on pace to just like, oh, you can't afford to pay for medicine? Who cares? You can't afford to live in this city? Be homeless. And we really don't care. And again,
I mean, just look how we treat the homeless. Just literally look how we treat the homeless.
We treat the homeless so bad. And I think we put this in the podcast that it didn't end up airing, but I mean, how many people are really just, one bad check away from being on the streets, They get too far behind on their bills or whatever, and that's it.
That's it. And the thing is, when you're on the streets, you have no sympathy. Well, sorry, not no sympathy. There are programs, institutions that really try to help. Shout out to those out there that are these programs helping out the homeless. But just as a whole, in general, like in America's eyes, like into the government eyes,
if you ain't working, if you ain't owning property, they don't care.
They really just don't,
And that's why I was going to get at with this whole socialism philosophy, because even if you're just the devil and you just don't care about the homeless and you don't care about the sick people and you don't care about the elderly or the kids or any of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, when none of that stuff becomes affordable at all, because we have killed, ideally in capitalism, competition will drive down prices. However, public goods like that shouldn't be
made for money.
It really shouldn't.
It should not be for profit. Like me having access to a healthcare system provided by, quote, the government should not be made for money. It defeats
I
the
mean,
whole.
I think we're even getting to the point where Wi-Fi is one of those kind of necessities. I mean, if you don't have access to the internet in America today, how far could you really get?
Nowhere. That's literally why
Yeah.
people always like visit, the library or some sort of a business like the post office or like UPS. That way, they have access to the internet. I know because one of my homeboys, he had to go to the FedEx building all the time because he didn't have access to a laptop. So he had to go there, print stuff out, go back home.
Yeah. I definitely have had a couple of regular trips to Office Max myself. Um, but that's my point is that, when basic things like that in a first world country, things that should be damn near free, um, aren't, it's like you guys want to claim the United States is the greatest country on earth, but literally your own arrogance and ignorance will literally put us back down. We can't live at the rate that we were 40, 50, 60 years ago. Things have changed. We need to change things. But again, back to my whole philosophical conundrum of even beyond when things become unaffordable due to the current system and the way things are just kind of, I mean, I don't really know what's going on right now. The world is just kind of in a weird place.
Like I said,
But
I think the balance of powers will probably shift soon. Say
probably.
America's starting to get. I would say America's starting to look itself in the mirror. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing though, right now.
Yeah.
I mean, because all my money is American money. So if this place goes, I ain't really got too many other options.
But continue on with like what we were saying, and you said that you're going to tie it back to the celebrities.
Oh yeah, let's tie it back. Well, before we even get to celebrities, let's tie it back to our good old technological overlords. Because what are we going to do when no profession is the only profession, and we now have beaten our own way? We have beaten ourselves out of the game of money. And thinking of money as a game, automating everything ideally would make life easier. However, who's going to pay for that stuff if nobody has a job?
That's the thing. We don't know how the economy is going to make its money unless we're all just consumers, just consuming the stuff that the government or Google or Apple or Disney provides for us.
Which is kind of terrifying. I mean, Mars is opening up, but that's going to be so weird when SpaceX has literally a monopoly of Mars. They're going to be the only company on the planet that can say, hey, we can take you to space and you can just live in space on our SpaceX house and our SpaceX ship and breathe our SpaceX air. Oh, you didn't pay your air bill this month? Too bad.
Oh my gosh. Like I said, tell you what, just on a quick side note to my fellow viewers before we get to our topic, I just wanted to point out to all you guys that America is at the bottom of the world in terms of providing a maternity leave for mothers, which like basically means that
America has a workaholic problem.
That's literally it.
We think we have an opioid crisis. America actually has a work addiction. And this is coming from someone who loves to work. I will work 2 jobs and be proud of it. I like going to work. It gives me a sense of purpose. I like having a busy schedule. It just helps me, stay on top of things. I like being busy. Having just dead time is fun, but, I like being busy. But at the same time, I want a break too, I want to be able to take a vacation, need to, kick my feet up.
But that literally ties back to everything you said earlier regarding America's philosophy that if you're not working on making money, then you're useless. So, like I said, at what cost is America just going to prioritize making money and getting better and not realizing that the machine that is making the money are human beings who have children.
Well, in my ideal world, everybody would just kind of do what they want. People would only really like move the needle in terms of, well, I'm not going to say everybody gets, everything equally, but I would think that people that contribute good things to society. I mean, I guess that's how money works now. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon, or, a good majority of it. I don't even think he owns the majority of it. He just is the CEO and owns a lot of it.
The thing is, I don't know either.
You're the fact checker. Aren't you supposed to be fact checking that?
Man, look, I was just going with the flow.
Where was I getting at? Oh, Jeff Bezos, again, has a invaluable service. Don't know where we would be without Amazon right now. And in my ideal society, people that offer
11%.
Huh?
I said he only owns 11%, just a heads up. So
okay, 11%. Yeah, I didn't think he owned the majority, but he's still super stupid rich. But yeah. Where was I going? Oh, my ideal society. People would just kind of create art, and someone wrote a book about this, and I can't remember, but essentially it says if people are taken away from the burden of having to work for necessities, and we can just have housing, not having to worry about it or whatever, we can just focus on the things that we want. And I mean, and ideally, let's just say we had universal basic income.
yeah.
People that, want to help society, want to become entrepreneurs and things like that. Let's just say we did get enough basic things for housing, so that food, health insurance, and all that is covered, right?
Right.
How people then spent their time outside of that would, I mean, it would, in an ideal world, I'm not sure how it would happen in actual practice, but in an ideal world, if your needs are met, then you don't have to worry about, what great thing you could be contributing to society.
Right.
So the person who could, be curing cancer right now might be homeless. He might not have enough food to eat, and he's worried about his next meal and not solving
He could be
the world's issues.
It's like at this point, to kind of like go even not too much further, but to kind of like go back even more. When we switched from hunters and gatherers to, actually like legit, like becoming farmers, making our own food, we already solved the problem as far as actually surviving and making food. So therefore we can focus on, building stuff, and that's where the natural progression in humanity happened. So,
and I will say, after a point, it was necessary to still have a system like, gold currency or currency backed by gold. I mean, not really, but you needed to have something backed by something. If somebody, had this, hey, I'll pay you 10 hay bales for a slice of your steak or whatever. I don't know what they used to trade back in the day. The thing is, I'm actually I took 7 years of classical Latin. I feel like I should know what the Romans were doing.
I think it was gold. I could be wrong.
No, they definitely had gold and stuff, but I'm just saying, even before them, hunter gatherers and stuff, when money was still a brand new concept, it needed to be backed by something. And I think we are slowly evolving into money really not being necessary. But
that's deep, man. That's gonna be really deep to think about.
I mean, you ever watch a show like Star Trek or whatever? A lot of people think that show is boring, but I mean, I think it's a pretty decent look at what the future probably would look like.
Or we're good. I mean, once the way how we are going with this world, once this earth is just completely destroyed, Wally painted a perfect picture as far as the way we're treating the earth, as far as how things are going with the way we handle trash, industrial waste and whatnot. This earth is going to be destroyed.
I am not a right-wing person. They're not paying me. I'm not Tucker Carlson. I wish they were paying me. Oh my God, I wish. However, some of that stuff is actually kind of exaggerated. Now, granted, I say that with a grain of salt as the West Coast is on fire right now.
It is.
But in terms of like trash and stuff like that, I'm not a scientist or anything like that. I totally understand climate change is real, and it is definitely anthropogenic. But with that being said, in terms of like trash and stuff, actually, I think all this trash in the United States could fit in like one landfill the size of like Denver, Colorado, or something like that.
God.
Like, it's not a lot. Now, granted, having an entire city of trash is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the United States makes a lot of garbage. So, but places like Japan are actually pretty manageable with their garbage. They recycle a lot of it. But I only bring all this up to say that a lot of like these campaigns and stuff that are like, save the earth are really, really deceptive. They're really just trying to get you to buy whatever their product is. Like, and I know
I say it's a shame too, because the issues that they use their platform for are very real.
Yeah.
All the time that they're just trying to make some money off of people's emotions and guilt.
Like our good old boy, who we were talking about earlier, SpaceX man.
Elon, good old E.
Elon Musk. I mean, because Teslas are nice cars and all, but Tesla starting a whole new electric car company and creating the infrastructure for that is actually not great for the environment. Now, granted, the clean electricity and all that stuff, Elon Musk has a lot of like businesses he's dipped his toe in that are supposed to help humanity on the whole. But at the same time, again, a lot of that stuff is just a sell product. Tesla is not really greener because they still have to manufacture the car. They still have to, produce the electricity.
Mining,
and even though
mining to make a point of the batteries in those cars is extremely destructive to the environment.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's also about to start the boring company. Which is literally going to gut, the earth out. But we worship Celebridom, and he's getting applauded for that. Which, before we slide into the next topic, shout out to anybody that is still listening an hour in.
Yep.
Like I said, if you're listening to us on YouTube, give us that good old like, give us a subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment, tell me, weigh in on this. This is where we're going to start putting user questions. I'm going to start asking y'all something every week. Y'all can drop the answer in your Cash App. I'll send y'all a little shumpin' schmumpin'. I would love to see how that smells. Something schmumpin'.
Some schmumpin'. Okay. Schmumpin'.
So, how about this? The funniest way somebody can spell that out, I will just Cash App them. Just leave, a bunch of comments for that. Spell that out. Shumpin' schmumpin'. Funniest spelling, I'll just send $5.
Get some free. This is free money, y'all. So do it.
Follow me at Prince of Roads on everything: Twitter, IG. I don't use TikTok. Pretty soon nobody's about to be using TikTok, but I do have an account. Follow me on that. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on Apple Music. Follow this podcast on everything. Go follow the playlist, the Victory Clique playlist. I'm going to leave a link for that in the description down below as well. Tony, you got anything you want to plug before we go over the hour mark?
Not just yet, man. Not just yet. All you for right now. I got nothing to promote except love and peace.
Love and peace. Peace and victory to the world. A wise man once said that. That wise man was me. Peace and victory to the world and all that noise. You know what I'm talking about. This is the Victory Clique podcast. Like I said, shout outs to anybody who's listening 1 hour into this. We are only just getting it kicking. Let's talk about the next topic of celebrity worship. I've always called that celebridom. Dumb being DUMB, because why do we worship celebrities?
Well, it can be for multiple reasons. Like there really is no black and white answer, but I can give an example. We can say that some kids just want someone that they can look up to, so they model almost their entire life behind somebody, which of course is to the detriment of themselves for their own future.
But the thing is that celebridom for the most part has always worked in the sense that, like, oh, if you are a famous actor, you know, people will show up and buy your acting product. And maybe this has to do with the internet. Like, you know, if you're an actor, they can put you in a show or something and expect your fan base to show up and buy tickets to that thing or tune in that night to watch that show.
Yep.
But at some point in time, celebrities just became the go-to personality, not personality, but they just became the go-to voice on every opinion, every matter, every political issue.
You know what? Dave
Chappelle said it best. Yeah, I was just about to go there.
Who gives a fuck with Ja Rule things at a time like this?
Ja Rule, where are you?
Where's Ja?
These fires?
Man, yeah.
But I'm going to call that the Ja Rule effect. I should write a book about this. I should write a lot of books, but maybe I should name the episode that, the Ja Rule effect.
Not a bad idea, man.
Now, hopefully, we just can't get sued by Ja Rule, but isn't he involved with the Fire Festival scandal right now? Isn't he still in court for that?
You know what? I'm going to hold off on giving an opinion on that just yet because I don't want to get sued either. So I'm going to hold off.
Hey, that shit didn't happen. They put out a whole documentary. Didn't they tell that guy to suck some dick for the Fire Festival to happen?
Dude, I have no idea. Like, I have not done too much research into the Fire Festival, but I definitely.
You didn't hear about those two documentaries? They put one on Netflix and one on Hulu. I watched both of them.
No, it's like I never watched them. That's what I'm saying. I never watched them yet, so I haven't gotten the full details. But I know just of everything. How this is just a whole entire scam. Like, if people were stuck on the islands with like old styrofoam things with like a pickle and bread and cheese. You know,
I don't want to spoil anything for you because, I mean, it really was a scam. But I am just going to say, I'm pretty sure one of the executives or whatever that was managing the festival went to somebody and was like, hey, we need some cash. And they were like, what are you willing to do for it? And I think he said he gave that man some top. And I could just be remembering that wrong, but I don't think that's something I would just make up.
I gotta check it out. He probably did something highly, not even egregious, but just non-conventional to get some money. And I mean that in the most polite way of saying he probably sucked some dick to get some money, man.
Hey.
But it's
sometimes you just need $20.
But it's like, you made a very good point, you know, where I also noticed that the media, I'm going to call it, quote, news, the news itself is already being attacked in terms of like stripping the credibility away. And Donald Trump really didn't start this. It was really like mostly Fox News, pretty much
he is the person who made it a catchphrase. Yeah, that's fake news.
Yeah,
fake Nobody news. Said that 10 years ago, just openly. Oh, that's fake news.
So it's
then just kept having a conversation. It's like, no, we're just not gonna. No, you're just not gonna dismiss these facts. And then just keep going as if I didn't just present this information.
Not at all. So basically, like, anyone can, and it says, but social media has created a beautiful platform for everybody. By everybody, it includes nutcases. So anyone that has a platform.
Everyone, follow us on this platform. We will give you ASMR if we have to. This platform is we're basically whores. We'll do whatever you want.
But basically,
on OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta have OnlyFans.
No, God, no. Basically, you know, it's like, now that everyone has a platform, everyone has an opinion on stuff. And, you know, like, social media has definitely pushed for, I'll say it allowed people to push their type of agendas. Like any way to make money, like influence kids to do this, and this. So basically, celebrities now compared to they did in the 60s have a bigger platform to voice their opinions on a lot of matters. Even if it's right, even if it's dead 100% wrong. If we can talk about the woman that started the whole anti-vaccination wave to, celebrities that just are so famous that their opinions matter and stuff. Like people asking about Ja Rule about this attack, where I'm like, hold on, I want to hear the opinion about this from someone who is like,
or why Mr. Kardashian West feels entitled to run for president of the United States, or even why Donald Trump felt he was entitled to run for president of the United States. He was nothing but a celebrity. He was not even a good businessman, and he's dumb as all get out.
Do you know who else was a successful actor turned president?
The devil himself,
Ronald Reagan. I am American, and America's the best.
I'm gonna put that sound effect in there. That 666.
He's talking about the devil himself.
The devil himself.
Even with all that in mind.
One more time for me, Ronald. I forgot his middle name, Reagan. 6 letters in each title. What is that?
Devil.
That's 6.
Actually, hold on.
What is his middle name?
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up too real quick, because if it's 6 letters, that's not funny. It is. Oh shit, Wilson. Shit.
Ronald
Wilson.
Oh, you gotta let it breathe, Tony. Wilson. Reagan. That's the last time I'm doing that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, literally that's actually terrifying. But I'm gonna go past that for right now. I gotta remain professional. Basically, nowadays, like I said, celebrities are so worshipped, and I think it's mainly because I would say social media, but I really can't exactly say it's just social media. I think what we have to do is that who has the most clout. Celebrities have more clout than most political leaders, unless they're popular among the people that use social media. That is mostly younger folk, And whenever someone has clout, whatever they say is going to get attention, So if I have 100 million viewers on, 100 million followers on Instagram or Twitter, and I say, hey, here's my opinion on this political issue. This candidate is who I'm voting for. There's a high chance that a few million people are going to listen to what I'm going to say, even if what I say was 1,000% wrong. Point is that I actually have, the clout, the following, people actually listen to me, And it's kind of sad because, during the 60s, especially in our community, it was really the philosophers, the political leaders, the preachers, the highly educated, experts in these political issues, in these social issues are the ones that we listen to. But,
then I got to think back on that though. Is that just us looking back on it and going, oh, just cherry picking? I mean, I can't really name too many celebrities from the 60s. But maybe that's just always been the case. Maybe it's just always been that celebrities have just dominated the scene. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, that might be, man. I mean, that might be it. But it's like, taking a prime example now, what's going on in, Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality. The ones who are really at the forefront for the most part are athletes and celebrities.
And not the people who actually started the movement.
Yeah.
The thing is, I feel like they were at the forefront. And I do just want to take a moment. Let's just have a quick moment of silence for all of the cases of people who have died in the hands of the police, or even just who have just been brutalized by the police. Let's just let that sit.
By radicals, who have decided to kill us because our lives are expendable.
Yeah, so let's just let that breathe for a second.
Yep.
Feel that uncomfortableness. But you know, I almost feel like, at least in America, we have the people who are actually the faces of that movement in particular are actually the people who are the victims, which in a way is kind of a good thing, but it's also kind of a bad thing because it's just kind of funny. Because what it ultimately comes down to is it's not even the celebrities or anything. It really ultimately comes down to the fans, because the media is nothing more than that. It is the media. It is the middleman.
Yeah. Which actually you were going straight to my next point is that the media is driven by the people as far as what we want to see, not necessarily, you know, people that are in charge
or even the way things necessarily are, which is why the fact that the victims of, you know, a lot of the tragedies that happen in the United States become the faces of these events or these issues. However, their stories are up to the interpretation of the masses. And with that being said, yeah, I'm gonna give myself the drop on that.
I was waiting for it too, man.
That being said, that is exactly why it is essential for Black creatives, Black thinkers, Black anybody, to use their platform productively. Not even productively, but just to use that shit, flex that shit. You know, funks flex that shit. That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. But yeah, that's why it's super important just, you know, for Black people in general. There are not too many Black media companies out there. But the closest thing we have to Black media is Black celebrities.
Black celebrities. And also, geez, what's my man's name who is suing Comcast right now? Oh my gosh, he's the CEO of I forgot that major television a provider. I forgot what it's called. So I'm gonna say shout out. Geez, I wish I could find his name, but I was gonna say that we have one person who is in a higher level, or who at least I think owns quote a media company. But like you just said,
is it Byron Allen?
Yes, Byron Allen. That's my man's name, Byron Allen. You know, shout out to him because he is trying to fight for us.
You type that in loud as shit, sir.
Hey man, see what I gotta say. There we go. He's the head of the Allen Media Group. Basically, you know, he is one of the few who is out there trying to say, "Hey, I noticed the issue with us having access to Black TV and Black media." You know, that's why he's fighting the fight against Comcast.
Yeah, it's a really important fight, and we won't win that fight without our fans. I think I might call this episode OnlyFans because I think that really is the theme of this episode. Is, you know, the media is one thing, but it ultimately comes down to who the people supporting that platform is. I think we're hitting the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. So I think we can go down and wrap this one up. Thank you all again for listening this long into it. And I cannot stress this enough. If you are listening to us on Spotify, leave us that follow on Spotify. If it's YouTube, follow us on YouTube. You know, we could really use your support over here. It helps us, you know, to keep, it helps me at least when I see those lovely likes come in to keep wanting to do this. And just knowing that someone's out there listening makes me want to just bring the most interesting experience back to you guys. So again, I cannot thank you guys enough for listening. You know, just stay tuned in for the next thing we have planned. I cannot stress this enough as well. Go ahead and listen to that Victory Clique playlist. It's got all sorts of songs in there for just helping you feel yourself, you know, make you feel like you made it big and stuff. I feel like everybody could use a little bit of a pick me up right now. It's been kind of a crazy year. So just put on that playlist and, you know, vibe out. Tony, anything you want to say before we, you know, sign off?
Same old thing, man. You know,
peace and love.
Peace and love, y'all. You know, stay safe out there.
Tone, man.
Wear your goddamn mask, please.
Oh, yes. Please wear your mask and vote.
Vote, please.
The election is right around the corner, and don't vote for anybody crazy because I will personally run you the fade.
No Kanye West and no Donald Trump. And I'm going to just say that right now.
I know these nuts, no Harambe. Jesus Christ.
Why'd you bring that up, man?
That
2016.
shit blew me. Yeah,
2016
2016 was a year.
that was
But that's a topic for another time. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Victory Clique podcast. We will catch you guys next time. Peace.
peace.